Yo, it's your boy Dctree, and this is the channel Dctree-Nation, where we cover hoops and heroes. And today we're talking hoops. We're talking Derek White, y'all. That boy had a hell of a good game last night, and I gotta say, he excited all Spurs Nation. 26 points, 8 rebounds, 3 or 4 assists, 4 threes. Man, very timely shots. He was active on the defensive end. He was active on the pick and roll. He was all over the court. He had a really good game. Even had a chip tooth. God, dog. He was hooping, okay? So one thing about this is that's irking me is that Spurs Nation, we have a habit of turning a positive into a negative. So the Spurs, they pull off this win. It's a W. It wasn't a perfect win now, and I'll talk about that later. It's a W. And somehow this turns into a Derek White versus Murray debate online, which is irking the heck out of me because, to be honest with you guys, if you follow the Spurs and if you know hoops, yo, we need both these guys, okay? We need both of them. We don't need to, pit them against each other. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been guilty of that too on this channel because sometimes you want to have a little fun and see who's better and pick apart, the highlights and the stats and all those type of things. But for the most part, guys, don't use D. White's great game as an opportunity to criticize Murray, because really, if you really thinking about it, Murray actually played really well given the circumstances. He was in foul trouble most of the night. He got a couple ticky-tack fouls that he didn't deserve, but man, his offensive game looked pretty good, man. He had a good crossover. He was getting into the paint. He had a little teardrop, at the end of the quarter. It was one of those Tony Parker-esque moves. So I gotta tell you, man, let's not use this as an opportunity to, discredit Murray. He had 11 points, had a few rebounds, a couple assists. He did his part, okay? There's room on this team and on this squad for Murray and D. White, okay? The Spurs as a whole, defensively, they got a ways to go. I don't know what they could do to help the defense. I think they probably need a defensive-minded power forward, maybe another center. And that's not to discredit Pirtle, because Pirtle was doing his thing, boy. When he had that block against Fox, I was like, yo, that was a heck of a good block. So Pirtle was doing his thing. But the Spurs' philosophy, defensive philosophy, is just off. So when you're dealing with a team with a defensive philosophy that's off, like the Spurs right now, the last thing you want to do is a trade of Murray, okay? You do not want to trade a Murray because he is still one of your best defensive players on the team. Now, there's arguments, maybe White is better, maybe Murray is better. To be honest with you guys, this is when the stats become important. And people don't like me to bring up stats. They're like, oh, you need to watch more of the games. And I do watch the games, but the stats give us an honest look at the situation. Sometimes when we watch the games, on eye value, D. White is miles ahead of Murray when it comes to, offensive prowess. But if you look at the stats, they're averaging around the same points per game, okay? And that's what stats do. They take you, bring you down from cloud nine, and they break things down for you, okay? Break things down for you so we can get a realistic look at this thing. And realistically, some days Murray is up, other days White is up, and vice versa. So it's hard to, pick and choose who's better. And don't get me wrong, if somewhere down the road some trade comes up where you have to make a decision, it's going to be a tough decision for the Spurs, to be honest with you. But think about it. When the last time the Spurs made a trade? When the last time that happened, guys? That's not happening, okay? So in the meantime, it's important for the Spurs to develop their young guys. Lonnie Walker looked good. Keldon Johnson looked good. Murray looked good. D. White definitely looked good. Heck, DeMar DeRozan actually was a closer for once. So the Spurs can keep this going, man. I like the future. I like the future, guys. So, let's not turn this into a D. White versus Murray thing. We all in this together. I'm excited, and you should be too. All right, guys, that's it for this one. For more information on hoops, please sub to the channel, hit that like button, and thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy out there. Peace.